Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to talk about hash maps. I am in Eclipse as usual and I'm gonna create a variable. I'll type hash map here and I'll set it equal to a new hash map. Let's press Ctrl-Shift-O to add the imports. Maps store pair of values, where one member is called the key and the other is called the value. So, when you create a map, you have to specify the type of objects you want to store in it. In fact, you can use any kinds of objects for your keys and values. But you should be careful if you have your own custom objects as the keys in a map. You have to implement the hash codes and the equals methods. However, let's take a simpler example to show you how hash maps work. Now I'm gonna say what I want to store in my map. Thus, I will specify integer and string type in these diamond brackets. And I need to specify that here as well. So whenever you mention the type of the map, you have to mention what's in it as well. Now, I will add key and value pairs into this map by using a method called put. So here, I will say map.put, and I will pass an integer and a string. Let those be some random numbers and some random animals. This is going to create a lookup table where you can look up for these animals using these numbers. So let's have a whole bunch of different entries in this map. I'll just put a few random numbers in here. I'll say, for example, dog, cat, tiger, lion, elephant, and so on. Now, once you've got your map ready, you've got a lookup table, and if you want, for example, this animal right here, you can get it using this integer. You might also think, well, these are primitive types. But don't worry, Java will auto-box them with corresponding non-primitive types. Here, I will say string variable animal equals map.get, and to get an animal, I can pass the key of that specific animal that I want to get. So the key of cat here is this number 5 here. So if I pass here number 5, and I output the animal variable, I will get the cat down there. If you try to get a value that doesn't exist in your map, for example 9, the value returned will be null. And you might also wonder what happens if you add an object that has the same key as an existing object. Supposing that later on I will add the key 5 again. So map.put 5, and let's say tortoise. What happens is that your second put will overwrite the first one. So now, tortoise will be displayed if we get the key 5. So although you can have duplicate values, you cannot have duplicate keys in your map. If you add a duplicate key, you'll overwrite your previous key, which is fine if that's what you want to do. So that's putting and getting in hash maps. But if you want to iterate over all the key and value pairs in a map, you can do that using a slightly different for each loop. I'll type 4. Now I'm going to use the map interface map.entry. And then I'm going to specify the type of each key value pair in diamond brackets, which is integer and string. So basically I've declared a variable of the type map.entry, and I'm going to name it my animals. Let's add a colon here. And here we are going to tell this loop what is going to iterate through. We'll say map.entrySet like this. Now let's do Ctrl-Shift-O to add the import statement. And now I can get the keys. I'll say here int key equals to my animals dot get key, and I can get the values in a similar way. I can say string value equals my animals dot get value like this. So now, if I output these, you'll see it actually looks like a table. Let's say sys out here and output keys along with the values. Now, one thing you should be careful with is that HashMap it's not sorted in any way. So if we get this order now, next time you iterate through it, it may or may not be the same order. So you should always keep in mind that HashMap does not keep its order. So that's how we came to the end of this lecture. Join me again next time. Until then, keep practicing.